Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to Thoughts of ShadyKnights, brought to you by your host, ShadyKnights. First of all, I would like to apologize for my long hiatus. It's been a while, but I've had problems with the computer. Working on my laptop now, I have a different headset, so if I sound a little off, a little weird, my apologies. Working on fixing all of that now. But today, I actually had to scrap what originally I was going to have the first episode of ShadyKnights and instead go for something that's been happening fairly recently that I really want to talk about, as it's been bothering me for the past few days. And while I honestly did have earlier recordings of this, either the audio wasn't working right or just in general I was a little too frustrated to say that I'm being rather, objective about it. I would rather give you, make informed, rational videos or thoughts of ShadyKnights rather than just being angry for the sake of being angry, because I think by this point there are enough angry, ranty people on the internet. You don't need one more, especially one from, me. Not that my thoughts are any less valid than the others, but, I know myself. I tend to get a little incoherent when I'm when I'm neutral. I don't need that. I don't need you to be bothering you all with that when I'm angry. So enough of the prelude. What I want to speak about is the Nintendo YouTube program that's been that apparently is in beta now. More or less the gist of it that I get. Nintendo will allow people to monetize videos with their, games and whatnot in it. However, they will take a 40 to 30% cut depending on, how you go about joining the program. Now, a lot of YouTubers I've read concerning this have been very unhappy. And I just don't get why. I get that, there's a lot of work that goes into doing videos, that, each commentator brings a little something different to the table, but let's just be honest. The real reason that people watch your videos is not because of you. They learn about you through what your videos contain. I wouldn't have the viewers that I have if I wasn't Let's Playing Final Fantasy X, Mass Effect, Star Ocean to the end of time. Now, I would probably have more viewers if I uploaded more frequently, but that's irrelevant. If you guys didn't like, the game that I'm playing, you wouldn't give me a chance to see if you like my style of doing it. I am more than willing to admit that it's thanks to Square that I have the viewers that I have, and think of them as friends because we have similar tastes in things, and it's fun talking about what you like with people with similar tastes. Thanks to games, we met each other. We joke and we laugh and we poke fun at one another. It's because of the game, not because of me. And I think that's the problem that a lot of these YouTubers have, is they seem to genuinely and wholeheartedly believe that they are the cause of their own success, and they wish to ignore the fact that, it's actually the game and the company that created the game that is more the cause of that. Now, I say that to say the people who speak against this the most don't tend to do Nintendo Let's Plays. There's articles all about how, PewDiePie is so upset with this program and it's so bad for him. How there's a video with Angry Joe about how Nintendo fucked up and want to monetize on his video of him talking about how much he's enjoying Mario Kart 8. Jim made a video about how this program could never be good and there's nothing good about it. And all three, I think, are just taking a very stupid, no meaning to insult anybody, but come on, let's be adults. It's a stupid mentality to take for it. There's nothing wrong with the company wanting to protect its property. If you don't want to participate in how they're protecting their property, then don't participate in it. But I think to just sit here and oust the entire program itself as broken, wrong, they have no right to do this, they're so mean and greedy, that just makes you all sound like children. It really does. It makes you sound pathetic, petulant, and just basically like whiners. If you think about this logically, Nintendo is treating YouTubers as businessmen because you're using their if those who are using it are using their property without necessarily asking permission first. If you did that in the music industry and tried to do that in mass, if you did that with movies and tried to do that in mass to make money, you'd probably get slapped with a serious lawsuit. And all they did was monetize on videos rather than sue. The constant argument with a lot of YouTubers is that this thing should go to court, and if it did, be such a great boon for, you know, the industry as a whole, because the fair play, fair use copyright law is too vague, and no one really knows what it means. When let's be adults here. We all know what it means. You can't use their proprietary works without their permission to monetize. Period. If they give you permission to do so, yeah. But if you start making money off of it, that's when the parody kind of takes a slippery slope. You need to have at least permission. I don't think that's very vague at all. And I personally know, I can't even say I think, I'm 99% sure these kind of laws and whatnot are in place vaguely enough for the consumer, but the big companies know exactly what it means. That's why they are okay with copyright flagging the videos, or in some cases outright taking them down. They're even within every right of their, of the law. Just because it's the internet doesn't mean that, you are exempt from any of this. You have to abide by it, same as they do. The problem with a lot of YouTubers currently is that oddly enough, they are what they claim other companies to be. They are comfortable with how the system works now because companies haven't really called them to task on this. Not really. And they don't want that to change. They want to keep making money on, the videos that they put out. Now, the videos, I agree, there's your videos and you put a lot of work into them. There's enough. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to take that away from anybody or saying the companies are really trying to take that away from anybody. However, the same as using another company's music in your AMV, the same as using various clips of movies in very clips for movies and whatnot in whatever you're doing, that without the company's permission, those works that you're using are theirs. You have to ask permission to use their works. It's the same as if somebody took your videos and put it on their channel and didn't give you credit or permission, or didn't ask for your permission to use your videos on theirs or whatever. Some YouTubers get upset when that happens, and justifiably so, because they went through a lot of work to make the video, and now some jackass is just using without their permission. Not even reviews or anything, like the full video uploaded on someone else's channel. That happens, and people tend to get salty about that, justifiably so. Now, one argues that, another argument that you see is, oh, because I'm doing commentary on it, it's transformative works. Not really. You can't do riff tracks and sell that with the DVD for money for yourself. That's very illegal. Oh, but the Let's Play, playing the game is quite different than, for each and every individual playing it. How I play would be different from you playing it. That's irrelevant. They're not copywriting or claiming the gameplay. They have no right to, because you're playing the game, whatever. The thing that they are claiming and the thing that they're trying to protect are the properties within the games. And when you think about it, yeah, sure, Nintendo may be the only console maker that does this, but I'm fairly certain other game companies do still flag people for their games. I remember last year, I believe it was Tomb Raider on Angry Joe's videos. Tomb Raider, several other companies were just flagging, uh, people's videos, and this happened after the whole YouTube's policies things and whatnot showed up, and he was upset, and a lot of other YouTubers were upset because all of a sudden the videos that had never been flagged before are suddenly boom flagged left, right, and center. But now, a year after all of this, after the new copyright ID thing, and Nintendo is still, relatively going by that, people are upset as if this is some big surprise. And again, they're well within their rights to do this. People still want to claim that, oh, Nintendo should just let them use their videos. It's just good PR. They're giving them free advertisement. Well, realistically speaking, how many Nintendo games have been sold due to this free advertisement? Everyone claims free advertisement, but what proof do you have that a significant number of people who watch Let's Play videos of Nintendo games have purchased the games solely because of the video? Not because maybe they bought the NES or SNES game years ago, or they bought the Game Boy Advance game years ago, or they bought the DS game years ago, or they bought the Wii game years ago and merely want to experience it again for themselves. The Let's Players, all they did was at best poke at that nostalgia button a little more than usual, but that's about it. What proof do you have that you yourself had a significant enough effect on games to do this? The argument goes that another argument I see is that indie games have been sold, a lot of them, by Let's Plays, and that's that's advertisement, but that's advertisement that those companies never had and now do have. They're okay with that because they can't afford, traditional advertisement. They have to sell their games off of how they look and how interesting they are and what Let's Players or reviewers say about them. So that advertisement is good for them. Nintendo does not need any, nouveau advertisement because they can already advertise for themselves. They do advertise for themselves. They have their Nintendo Directs. They have their own channel that shows their commercials that they're played on TV. I haven't seen them on TV, admittedly, but I haven't really watched TV in years, honestly. Not seriously watched, at least. So, again, that argument is moot. And it really shows the ignorance of some people when they genuinely say these statements without, without proving themselves. All of these statements that I mentioned that people claim are things that they feel and not what they know. Or they're trumped up with a supposition or using false equivalencies of indie games for larger, far more expensive console games. Sony and Microsoft, they may not continue. If I'm not mistaken, Microsoft still does claim people's videos on occasion. Maybe not as fervently as Nintendo, true, but they still are a part of that. Sony is a part of a music company and movie company. They probably claim videos one way or another. And Nintendo, between the two of them, the people that only focuses on games, they have a bigger stake in the matter because their companies can subsist entirely on their games. So their IPs have to be protected a little more vehemently than, say, Sony or Microsoft, because they have other things to distract them from what could possibly be, to them, negligible numbers, to Nintendo, probably serious numbers. And two, Nintendo is also the only company of the three that are, as I said earlier, treating Let's Players and reviewers and what have you like the businessmen they claim themselves to be. You want to use their proprietary IPs, their video footage from games that they own containing copyright protected properties, their worlds, their characters, their code, everything in a let's play that you show off is legally theirs. And while it may not be necessarily breaking the law to show the videos non-profit, yeah, for free, you're not making a profit off of it. When you start making money off of it, then showing all of that is far different. The entire point of mini games is for you to experience the games yourself for the first time. And if you're watching someone else experience it, then that specialness of you seeing whatever for yourself is lessened, it's diminished. Regardless of what anybody says about how a game convinced a let's play convinced them to buy a game, I am willing to bet there are more people who don't buy a game because of let's play. I'm one of them. I avoid many let's plays because if I see the entire game, I have no interest in playing it. I have no interest in playing a game that I've seen all the way through. I avoid games that look interesting to me from the get-go, or that I already know I want to get, because I don't want to be spoiled about anything. When you're spoiled, then the fun of seeing it for the first time, the hype that you get naturally from, fiddling around and figuring something out yourself, is diminished. And I think that's a far more legitimate argument than, oh, people see this game, they want to buy it. It's the same as a movie. If I see a movie outside of the theater, for free, why would I go to the theater and watch it? Some people would, but those numbers probably do not eclipse or even come close to doing so of those who would not. There's no point in it. You know what's going to happen. You know the twist. You know all of this. So why would you spend money to experience something you already know? The argument that, oh, video games, you have to play it to get the proper experience from, bullcrap. The entire purpose of a game is entertainment. So the actual experience that you try to get from a game is just enjoying it. If you enjoy watching it, you don't need to play it in order to enjoy watching it. So that argument is rendered moot by common sense and logic. I don't quite get this entitled concept that let's players have let themselves get into. I mean, I understand what it is. They like how they make money. They don't want to quote unquote share money. And if Jim Sterling, someone whose videos I tend to like, and occasionally I agree with them, occasionally I don't, but on the whole I think he means well. The concept that Nintendo's taking your money from you is balls to the walls ridiculous. You are paying them royalties to use their works. That's all Nintendo's asking for. If you consider what you do a real, serious, legitimate job, then you have to take this as a real, serious, legitimate job. Are there problems with the program? I'm sure there are. How many the list of games that you can use, how much, the fact that the amount of money that you may get is in flux. Something else that I've heard of. There are issues with it, but the program itself, as I believe I said earlier, is in beta. So if you don't like it, speak out against the problems and move on to make it better. If you genuinely feel that your viewers come to see you and not what you play, prove it. Nintendo's, you don't want to use your entire channel for Nintendo and Nintendo only games, fine. Don't sign up for the 70%. Don't sign up to get 70%. Sign up to get 60% and just get 60% of the monetization off those videos. Or if you feel you deserve more than that, you make a separate page, and you make a second YouTube page. Tell your viewers that you will be doing Nintendo reviews and whatnot, well, Nintendo content, not reviews, on that page, and call it a day. If you are what commands your viewers, then guess what? Your viewers will follow you. If what you play commands your viewers, they won't follow you. This is the time for you to, prove what you're saying is true. That people come to see you. Oh, but the games that Nintendo play have my audience doesn't really care for that. Then don't sign up for the program. Shut up. This program does not affect you and would not affect you. I mean, well, directly, immediately, it does not affect you. There is a very high possibility and likelihood that other companies are definitely looking at this. I mean, I'm pretty sure movie companies, music companies would really like to get other YouTubers to, stop using their works without not giving them they wouldn't like their works to be used while at the same time them getting money for it, because the promise of maybe possibly getting money for their proprietary works in whatever is probably just something that, even though is maybe bad for them in the appearance, in how the PR is, the simple fact is, financially speaking, they're not willing to take that risk because it's risky enough for them. I'm pretty sure they would be more than happy to find a way to meet consumers in the middle, as Nintendo is trying to do. And this working well could be beneficial to more people, not just Let's Players. And that's one of the another thing that kills me. Let's Players, a lot of the Let's Players or YouTube personalities I see that involve themselves predominantly in gaming are so selfish and single-minded about all of this. It affects them. One of the, in my opinion, most ignorant statements I've heard Jim say was, it's the equivalent of Nintendo taking your shoes from you, then trying to sell them back to you, or then trying to sell them back to you and demand that you give them the laces or something of that nature. And that's just completely stupid. It's just a completely ignorant analogy, and it just screams of selfishness and greed. Not saying that he is a selfish and greedy person. I don't know Jim personally, but that statement is selfish and greedy in the same way children can be selfish and greedy at times. I want it all. I don't want to share. But you didn't create you didn't create the works that you are profiting off of. You kind of can't share it. It's like you didn't study for a test, you cheated, your teacher caught you cheating, and he or she is willing to let you take the test again, but you feel you shouldn't have to take the test again. You answered all the questions right, so you should get your 100 and be left alone. That's not how it works. A lot of people complain that, oh, editing videos is difficult work. They put in a lot of effort and work in those videos. But you have to look at this, door swings both ways. Just the same as it takes a lot of effort to make a video, it takes probably 50 times that effort to make a video game. And that's putting it very generously. You have so much that if you want your games to be any good, to do bug tests, make sure that the code works, make sure that the event flags, work properly. There are so many different things. Make sure that the world is working right. The physics are doing good. Collision detection is acting properly. So much stuff you got to take care of, and all of that still won't guarantee that your game will be well received, or for practical purposes, good. That people will like it, that people will buy it. All of that, plus you have other people showing off the entirety of your game, and you have to worry about that as well. That's a problem. You can't really be putting you would be just as upset if other people were taking your works, making money off of it, and you weren't seeing a penny for all of your hard work. The same as you feel that you put in a lot of work into your videos and it's not fair for Nintendo to be monetizing off of it. That's how they felt about you taking their proprietary works and monetizing off of it. While you do own the video, you don't own the works in the videos to make money off of it. I don't see how that is a difficult to understand concept. Now, I understand that, as I said earlier, it's not perfect. There are a lot of things that can be fixed with the program, and there are a lot of ways that things can be improved. But it's just, again, that's when you work with the company to fix it. That's when you prove yourself to be running a business, to be an adult, and fix it. You don't be a child and just demand that you get everything your way or no way at all. That's stupid and childish. And no, that is not what Nintendo's doing. They are not saying that it has to be our way or no way. They're saying, look, you can either get money this way, that way, or you just cannot monetize off of our videos and you can still keep your videos up. You can still make the videos. They're not taking those from you, generally speaking. You just can't make money off of it. Now, if you love making the videos and what have you, you could just keep making them. If you only like making videos because you want to get money off of it, which is fair, then you either abide by their rules or do something else. Change up how you do it. That's why. That's another thing I don't get. We are in with the internet as it is today, and how things can just grow and improve and change and what have you. If as YouTubers say that they do legitimate work and they do dream jobs of just playing games and getting money to play games, well, sometimes with all jobs, as fun as they are, you got to do some things that you don't like. Sorry, even when you like doing it, you do have to deal with some stuff that you may or may not like. If you try the Nintendo program and it just doesn't appeal to you, it just doesn't work, you tried several ways to make it work, well, then just move on and just don't use their videos and call it a day. If you still want to talk about Nintendo games and say what you think on it, fine, talk about it. You can't use their videos to do work, fine, don't use their videos for the work, for your videos. Don't do that. People are here to see your personality, so you don't need the videos to enhance, to go with your personality. You don't need it. If you do it for fun or it's for work, that's the thing. Change how you do it. A lot of the greatest complaints just stem from YouTubers and whatnot being comfortable in how they do things and not wanting to change. And ironically, as much as they say Nintendo's becoming irrelevant, the attitude that they have is far more likely to make them irrelevant a lot sooner than Nintendo ever will be. Because they, regardless of anything, are at least attempting something new. They're attempting something they've not done before, and they're attempting to meet you halfway. Just because you don't think it's close, just because you don't think halfway is close enough, does not alleviate the fact that they're meeting you halfway. Just legitimately, honestly speaking, completely stepping away from the fact they are a company that sees people using their works, and rather than wanting to take them to court, rather than wanting to continue to just take their money, like other game developers are doing that everyone wants to ignore and forget because this is Nintendo and they're a big company, so therefore they get all the negative attention. And we haven't had a reason to have a doom and gloom conversation about Nintendo in a few months, considering how well received their games are. So it's the hot topic thing. Because you want to talk, because all of that's the only reason why you want to make Nintendo concede. Because it's the new hot, you have to have your doom and gloom. Even if people don't think that's the reason, I have to argue that has to be the reason. Every time Nintendo's doing well, everyone shuts up. They don't want to say anything about how well they're doing. They don't want to say anything about anything positive going on for Nintendo. But as soon as something unpopular happens, boom, Nintendo's the devil. They are the video game antichrist. They never do anything well. They're so irrelevant. They just don't get it. And in my eyes, the blatant racism of this entire thing is just killing me personally. How Japan just doesn't get us. They're Japanese companies. They just don't understand how we like to do things over here. And that's just so how the rest of the world likes to do things. Do you all not get how effing racist that is and how stupid? oh, there's only one way to do things, you're sounding an awful lot like the company, like you're doing what you claim Nintendo to be doing. You will only accept one way, and that way is your way. Nintendo is, hey, I haven't heard of music companies trying to give let the people who make videos with their music, I haven't heard of them just being like, okay, you know what, we'll come up with some way you can get at least 60% of the money that you make from the video. We'll see if we can do something with those numbers as we see the program works, but we'll work something out with you. I haven't heard of them doing that. I haven't heard of the companies that keep monetizing off videos from things that they've shown, or music of things that they've shown, to offer anything to the player as a means for them to continue to monetize, rather than just scrap the video altogether, or not make money off of it. I haven't heard of any of them trying to do that. But because Nintendo is, it's a bad precedent, because it made me, instead of getting 100% of the money, you only get so much percent of the money. And honestly, do you really deserve 100% of it? You did 100% of the work on making the video, but you are only a part of what percentage of that video. Your voice is a part of it, yes. The gameplay and whatnot is also a strong part of it. Your commentary, your wit, the writing in it, the editing in it is yours. But a lot of the things that are in it, that when you show a lot of clips, that when you, I'm sorry, I keep relating this to reviews, and I need to stop that. Let's plays, the entirety of what you show, the entirety of what you present, that's the game that's already owned by somebody. You just provide editing, you provide your video, and you provide your commentary, if that. There are plenty of no commentary videos. That's all you provide. They created the code that makes the game run. Depending on the company, if we'll just say, because of the title of this, the subject matter of this video, we'll say Nintendo. They created the console that's been played on. They made the game. They had the 3D models, or they at least paid for that. They paid or worked on the music. They put in the cutscene. They put in every important segment of this game, every important segment, and you feel you deserve all of it for just playing the game. That's reasonable. Oh, to edit a Let's Play so it doesn't get flagged is hard work, so you should get money for that. So no, you shouldn't get all of the money for that, even if it is difficult to Let's Play. Even if you don't monetize, and especially if you don't monetize your videos, why are you complaining? Because Nintendo is getting money off of it. So you weren't getting money. You're not losing anything at all. And if you want to start making money off of it, what's so bad about working on a partnership with Nintendo? Another thing that kills me is no one's looking at the benefits to being a partner with a video game company if you're just doing Let's Plays. I do not approve of this with doing, reviews or anything like that. But if you're just going to be playing the games, and the closest thing to a review you'll give is just like, oh, I like this game, this is so fun, or just more or less talking about things that you yourself personally enjoyed, and not trying to equivocate the game to being generally good or bad for a game. Oh, yeah, the benefits to a partnership with a company like that: exclusive interviews. You are the one who is allowed to give information to the public about a game that's coming out. Maybe Nintendo might migrate from doing Nintendo Directs proper and let the YouTuber whose personality is genuinely good, who can represent their company in a way that, they're cool and happy with, they are allowed to bring up information about a new game, do interviews with people about the upcoming games that are coming out, to inform the public, because they can reach out in a different and unique way. And essentially, that is a lot that you could get from a partnership. Oh, but you want to get all of the money. Well, essentially, if you were in this partnership program with Nintendo, and you just get 60%, but you get all these benefits of being able to talk to these people, of being able to do these specific interviews of what happened. Whose videos are going to get the most attention? Yours. Because people are watching the new hottest releases, which come from you, which means you make even more money because you're the one giving the release information. You're the one breaking the news to people, and it benefits you. Yes, Nintendo as well, but you.
I mean, if you're going to be selfish, at least learn how to be selfish properly, dang it.
The internet is new and it's interchanging and should be able to benefit everyone. Then why is it not allowed to benefit everyone? I understand that Nintendo as a whole is a company, and a company is comprised of many people, but I don't see anything wrong with a company so long as they are not doing anything shady, so long as they're not doing anything underhanded, so long as either they're being upfront or the people dealing with them are being upfront and trying to be fair. As long as people are trying to meet each other fairly and be honest about things, I see no harm with this. I see no problem with it. I only see benefits. I see a really rocky start, but we can make this but this thing could be really beneficial for everybody. And I personally feel if you're not going to be involved with it at all and you don't want to be involved with it, then shut up. Because if you don't like it, because it may make you unhappy, that does not mean that it will improve and help a lot of other people. A lot of LPers who aren't as vocal, who aren't as visible as Jim, as Joe, as PewDiePie. The three big names that I have seen about it. Two of them because I watched their videos, and one because the places that I visit wanted to put articles about what he said as if what he said was some grand, intelligent, reasonable, completely non-biased thing. None of which is true, but everyone treated it as if it was. So yeah, I personally feel this could be really good for folks. That if people don't want to be involved with it, don't be involved with it. If you want it to fail and what have you, at least be honest. Well, I can't say that Jim and Joe aren't. The people I talked about were honest about it. They were very, didn't want this to succeed. But, if you want to be considered reasonable, why not give a good reason as to why this shouldn't work, or at least a counter to it that is beneficial for everyone, not just yourselves? Because reasonably speaking, you are using proprietary works. You're not transforming the work just because you're playing it, just because your voice is over it, just because suddenly you're editing the video. You're not making this some brand new, completely different beast. You're changing it up a little. Be honest about it and be honest with yourselves. It's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous that people are acting this ignorantly about something that has such a nice potential to be so helpful. It just really is. But I think I've talked at length about this for now. Yeah, it's just things that I've been thinking on. Maybe I'll come back to this later on. Heck, maybe Lotus and I'll make it a topic of a podcast proper when I figure some way out of how to get back to doing that. But until then, let's just try to be a little bit more level-headed, more reasonable. Actually come up with intelligent, reasonable, respectful, non-baby sounding arguments or reasons why things should or shouldn't work. I know that's a lot to ask of the internet, but you can never get anything unless you ask for it, and you might be surprised by getting what you ask for when you ask for it. So let's try. Come on, can we just try to be, or at least pretend to be intelligent, to say intelligent things, even if we may be knee-jerk reaction to act otherwise. Can we try that? Oh well. This has been Thoughts of ShadyKnights, brought to you by your host, ShadyKnights. You all take it easy, and I'll see you in a little bit.